Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, actually I'm super excited to film because I haven't actually sat down to film in probably a week, which is a long time for me. The last video that I uploaded was actually pre-filmed, so I'm super excited to be back with you guys today. I thought the perfect video for right now would be to talk to you guys about my favorite eyeshadow palettes, honestly, because the new full face is eye makeup, to be quite honest, because we're having to wear masks. So if you guys would like to learn what all is inside here, then just keep on watching. Okay, so these palettes are not in any particular order like I've told you guys in my last videos in this series. I actually have two other videos, I believe it's just two, in this series. It's my favorite foundations and favorite lipsticks. I will link that in the corner of this video if you guys want to check out that playlist. But yeah, none of these are in any particular order. I'm just gonna grab them. Actually, I say that, but I want to start with the eyeshadow palettes that you guys are most able to get because they're in store. If stores are open near you, drugstores and stuff like that, then you guys should be able to get these first two brands. So my first favorite brand eyeshadow palettes is COVERGIRL. So COVERGIRL is honestly, I believe, kind of slept on when it comes to a lot of products. I feel like they hit a peak when they rebranded. Now I really don't see a lot of people talking about COVERGIRL that much anymore, but they have some really bomb eyeshadow palettes that you guys are able to get at Walmart, at Target, at any drugstore near you. And these are some of my favorites here, but honestly it's up to your preference on the shades that you like to use. I like more warm toned eyeshadow palettes and stuff that I can use on an everyday basis. So this first palette is the Full Spectrum COVERGIRL palette So Saturated, and this one has more of like those everyday neutral warm tones, and this is kind of what it looks like. I feel like my lights are kind of blowing out some of the shades because they are richer in person. This one and these two are really good shimmers. Honestly, I wish I wasn't blowing it out so much, but this is a really good warm palette. And then we also have the trunaked Peach Punch palette. That's a tongue twister, and this actually smells like peaches, much like the Too Faced palettes. This one is really nice as well. It has some really nice peachy tones to it, a lot more pigmented and vibrant in person than it's coming across on camera. This is a really good one as well. And then the last one that I really like from COVERGIRL is the trunaked Sunsets palette, and these all kind of have like similar shade ranges. It's just dependent on, again, kind of family that you look towards when it comes to colors. But this one I would say is more of in that sunset family with like oranges and bright pinks. And all three of these palettes have a good mix of shimmers and mattes, so you're able to create multiple different looks and a wide range of different textures because of that. And so yeah, these are some of my favorites, and I really like how easy it is to get these palettes. You can get them, like I said, at the drugstore as well as even Ulta. Ulta sells a lot of drugstore brands as well. So the next brand we're moving on to is E.l.f. Now E.l.f. is available at most drugstores as well, and E.l.f. has a lot of good palettes, but I don't actually own a lot of them, so I can't really speak to them. But I definitely wanted to include E.l.f. in this video because they have some really awesome products. I remember, I've talked to you guys about this before, but I remember like years ago when I first got into like my YouTube channel and all of that, E.l.f. was not what it is today, and it's so amazing to just see the evolution of this brand. This is one of the palettes that I really recommend, mostly because it's a really inexpensive palette for the amount of shades you get in it and the range of shades. You get like bold colors as well as neutrals. You can wear as an everyday look and then like a bold look when you're feeling a little bit more spicy. I just really like this palette, and you can get it for an inexpensive price. And if you're in a rush, you know, and you want to run to the store and get a palette that has really good shades and it's really good quality and it's not that expensive, this is a really good one. It's the Retro Paradise 18-piece eyeshadow palette. It may or may not be limited edition, but it's a really good palette for you guys to check out. Okay, you guys, let's get into Fenty Beauty. So Fenty has come out with kind of two different eyeshadow palettes. We have the bigger ones, and then we have the Snap shadows. Okay, the snap shadows are honestly my favorite concept of an eyeshadow palette because I love the fact that you can put two eyeshadow palettes of completely different color families together, and then you have that for when you travel, or if you are going to spend the night at your parents' house or your boyfriend's house or your friend's house or whatever the case. It's a really good, just travel friendly eyeshadow situation, and there are a lot of really good palettes in the snap shadow range. Some of my favorites are the 9th palette, which is a recent launch. This is the wine palette. It has really beautiful shades in it, of course, as you can see. Then we also have the number 8 palette, which has all shimmers, but the reason why I really like this one is because it's a really good palette to have to mix with other palettes that you already own. So if you don't have, let's say, a green shimmer, but you have some warm neutral matte shades, you can easily use those and then go in with this palette for your shimmer shade on the lid. So I just really like how this palette just has all the bold shades that you need when it comes to creating like an oomph look, you know, to amp up what you're going for. And then we also have the 4th palette, which has like your rosy pink shades. I believe it's called the Rose palette, and this one is just a really pretty palette. Honestly, it reminds me of Valentine's Day with all the pinks in it, but it's a really pretty, almost, I feel like pinks you can get away with an everyday kind of look, especially these pinks. Even though it is a bold color family, pink of course still gives you that naturalness, if you will, of an eyeshadow look, but still giving you that bold pop. So I really like this one for that. And it also has, like, all of these have a mixture of shimmers and mattes except the 8 palette that I just showed you guys. And then we also have the number 3 palette, which is the deep neutrals palette, and this palette honestly speaks for itself. It's like your everyday palette but like deeper. So I honestly feel like if you're more of a deeper skin tone, this would be your everyday eyeshadow palette. And for me, it would be more of when I want an everyday eyeshadow look but like amped up a little bit, just a little bit deeper, a little bit more noticeable, and just beautiful in its own right. So this is a really good palette for that. And then we have the number 1 palette, which honestly, this is one of those palettes that you can just throw in your purse, I feel like. And it's just like whenever you need some eyeshadow, if you don't have any makeup on and then your girlfriend is just like, girl, let's go to a Zoom party or something like that, you can just pick out this palette from your purse and then just throw it on the eyes. It's just a really easy, beginner friendly eyeshadow palette because it's really hard to mess up these shades because they're so neutral. Just a really nice everyday palette, honestly. This is even like one of those when you're in a rush and you're trying to go to work and you need like a little bit of eyeshadow. This is it. It just has so many uses for the everyday or when you're in a rush kind of situation. So that's a really good one. So this last one from Fenty, I wanted to make sure that I talked about. I have not used this palette, okay? So I cannot say whether or not it is as bomb as I'm thinking it's gonna be, but I can just tell. Honestly, I know the formula of the Fenty Snap Shadows, so I don't really need to use it to know that it's bomb. But these shades, you guys, if you are into green, you need to try this palette. I have tried this one, but I haven't tried the greens in the palette. I've tried this shade in an Instagram live tutorial I did last week or the week before that, and this palette is called Money, and it honestly looks like money, smells like money. I'm just kidding. But no, it's just a really pretty palette and I can't wait to try this palette out. But I just want to make sure I showed you guys this one because this one is literally bomb. Like, I love these shades, and green palettes are kind of hard to come by, if I'm being honest. There's not a whole lot of green palettes in the industry, so super lovely. I can't wait to try this. Okay, this next brand, if you follow them on Instagram, you know every week there's a new palette, there's a new lip color, there's a new highlight, there's a new bronzer, there's a new product, period. I'm gonna let y'all comment below on what brand you think that is because you have to know. If you follow them on Instagram, you know who I'm talking about. So it's kind of hard for me to pick my favorites because there's always something new. That is ColourPop. Okay, ColourPop literally has, I don't know, the most hardworking team, I feel like, because they're always releasing new products. So I picked out a few of my favorites that I have in my collection. I have not tried all the palettes from ColourPop, obviously, because there are so many palettes, but I do have a few here that I want to chat about. This first one is the Mar palette, and it's just a really beautiful palette. It has your neutrals and bold shades, and it's not that many shades, but they were able to fill this palette with both spectrums. Like, if you want to go bold and you want to go neutral, this has it. If you like blues and even a little green in this palette, so it's a really nice wide range range with a small amount of shades. So I really like this palette for that. And the formula of ColourPop shadows honestly don't change. They're always good, so you don't have to worry about that. This next one is the Going Coconuts palette, and it is a neutral kind of coconutty palette as far as the shades. It doesn't pull super warm and it doesn't pull super cool. It's kind of right there in the middle with still giving you that really nice everyday kind of look. So I really like this for that. It has a row of shimmers and you have 2 rows of mattes, which is really nice. So I really like this one as well. And this next palette is like my heart in a palette. This is the Main Squeeze palette. I love shades like this. I'm honestly wearing shades similar to this on my eyes right now. I just love like those cherry, strawberry shades, like really warm shades. I feel like it brings out my skin tone, and I just really like how these shades look. Juicy Fruits and Maraschino. Those 2 shades, literal fire. So you guys definitely need to try this palette. Okay, these next 2, I kind of can talk about them together. It's the Give It To Me Straight and Bare Necessities. Honestly, they are very similar. This is just a smaller version of this. As you guys can see, they are super similar. It kind of has a lot to do with space, honestly. If you're looking for something a little bit smaller and it has like some warm tone shades, then you should go with Give It To Me Straight. And then the Bare Necessities is just a bigger palette. It has all the shades you're gonna need. If you're more of like an everyday gal, this is the palette that you will need for the rest of your life, honestly. So these are 2 in the same family almost. This one just is a lot less shades than this one. But all of these from ColourPop, honestly, the same beautiful quality. So you don't have to worry about if you were to go with any one of these that I'm talking about. If you guys know me, you know how much I love Sigma. So I could not talk about my favorite palettes from Sigma. These are honestly my favorite palettes from Sigma, my favorite palettes in general. I could live with just these 2 palettes for the rest of my life and be fine with that. They are just that good. I love the Sigma Warm Neutrals palette, which it was originally the Warm Neutrals Volume 2, but it's just called the Warm Neutrals now. And it just has such beautiful shades. I used this palette in my beginner eyeshadow tutorial video, and it honestly is the best palette for anybody, not even just for beginners. If you're advanced, whatever the case, it is a really good palette for everyday looks, when you're traveling, when you're on the go. Just if you like these type of neutral warm shades, it's perfect for you as well. It's just a really beautiful palette. I mean, no complaints. This next palette is my baby. It is the Cor-De-Rosa palette from Sigma, and it has some beautiful warm shades in it. It has pinks, oranges, golds, peaches. It just has everything you need, honestly, in a palette. It is such a beautiful palette. This is one of my favorites, if not my like top 5 of all the palettes that I'm talking about. This is literally my favorite. Love this palette. Such great quality, such great shades. It is just beautiful. And then it comes with a Sigma brush that's double-sided, and you guys know Sigma brushes are my favorite. So I mean, it's just an all-in-one beautiful palette. Love this. Definitely you won't be disappointed with this palette. It is so beautiful. And then we have Dose of Colors. So Dose of Colors honestly does not make a bad product. Nothing from them is bad in my opinion. I've tried pretty much every product that they have and nothing is bad. So of course you guys know the Dose of Colors eyeshadow palettes had to be in here, so I wanted to talk about a few that I love. This first one is the Baked Browns palette, and it just has some really beautiful brown shades in it. It is really great. It's kind of like transition color palette almost. You guys hear me say that word a lot. The shades that you would put in the crease to kind of make the eyeshadow look blend a whole lot smoother. These shades work really well for that. And then we have the Blushing Berries. So honestly, the palette is a lot more bold of a pop than the shades in here. So I really kind of like that, honestly, that it's not as intense, because these shades you can use in your everyday looks and it not go too bold too fast. If you want to add a little bit of berryness to your eyes, then you can go with this palette because it's kind of like on that muted spectrum while still being bold. So really nice. Then Then we have the Sassy Siennas, which I think this was one of their first eyeshadow palettes that they launched. This one in the baked browns, I believe, were some of the first that they launched, and it's just a beautiful terracotta family of shades. Beautiful, beautiful color family. Love this. These are some of my favorite shades to work with, like, as you guys know. And it's just really nice on the eyes for those everyday looks. The Cutting Edge palette, which is one of their newest palettes, and they actually have 2 shimmers in it, which all their other palettes before this one and the other one that they launched had just matte. So I am super excited for this. The formula of this is beautiful. Love their shimmers, love their mattes. So this is a really beautiful shade family. It's more in like the army green family, but you can definitely create a few kind of everyday shades by sticking to this range, and then you can amp it up with this range. So it kind of has a spectrum of looks that you can create with only 5 shades, which is super cool. So that's why I really like this one as well. And that is the video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like I ran through those palettes really quick because it was a lot of them and I didn't want to make this video super long. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what some of your favorite eyeshadow palettes are down in the comments, as well as let me know what you guys want to see next in this series. Do you want to see concealers, bronzers, highlights? Like, what do you guys want to see next? Can't wait to do another video in this series, so make sure you guys let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe before you leave and thumbs up this video, and I promise I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.